Alrighty, also before I delved into, I guess, fixing the ones that I've shown you all in the previous video, the snapper here, we're going to be digging into that because I think the exhaust pressure relief mechanism on it is bad. But this video is actually going to be with this big wheel mower. I've already done a few things off camera. This engine is from that red mower that was all beat up, bent up, and messed up, so to speak. And this was one of the two that had the base plate problem right here with the crack that happened right there. And when I took the blade off of this mower, it looked like this. So that kind of tells you hit something pretty hard on it. But this is just a basic refurbish of this motor here. I pulled it. It's got compression. The pull rope mechanism is it's kind of a little tattered on it, but not too bad. What I'm going to do actually is take the engine here that has the broken base plate on it and pretty much take to get it kind of correct with the look of the mower, because they changed stuff between 2017, which were the red mowers, and 2018, which were the black mowers, just to kind of get the look of it the same. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this gas can on it, because it's the last one I have with the old gas cap, just to kind of get those out of the way. That way I have all new, gas cap parts and whatnot for the new mowers I'm going to get. But I'm going to take actually going to take the entire carburetor and all the air filter covers and stuff, and the exhaust off as well, because if you remember, the exhaust was all the shield. You can see one of the bolt holes is walled out here. So I'm just going to replace the exhaust and replace the carburetor, because you can see this mower was run without an air filter. Hopefully there's not so much grit in there that it actually causes a low compression issue. If it is, I'll find out. I guess the way the shape the old mower was in, I couldn't really even test it. So this video, I'm just going to be pretty much kind of fixing this and refurbishing it to make it look like a relatively new mower. It's really dirty, but a wash really helps with that. And then when you look under it, you can see it has some dirt on it, but that could easily be just from 2 mows of whatever this person did. So first thing I'm going to do is I've already taken the cover off. That was just 3 5/16 inch bolts. It comes right off the decorative color with the pull rope on it. The next step is just 2 5/16 inch bolts right there, a 7mm and a 7mm. Takes this cover off, and it'll slide. You actually just slide the carburetor out after that and disconnect it from the linkage. Over here is 2 5/16 inch bolts holding on the exhaust after you get the 1/4 inch exhaust shield bolts off. I've got plenty of exhaust, so I'm not worried about replacing the exhaust. And so that's kind of what I'm going to do next. And when we get to that point, I'll take this off and we'll put it all back together. So before I put it together, I was going to give you all an idea of kind of what everything looks like without anything on it, so to speak. I took all the bolts off like I mentioned in the previous clip. Makes it a little bit easier to get to the spark plug, but I think everything's alright with that. One of the biggest things is I wanted to check inside here to see how bad the dirt situation looks. I don't know if we can see that on camera very well, but there's a little bit of grit in there. I can see a little bit of grit in the valves. I don't really see any scoring, thankfully. So hopefully that it was spared in that aspect. But these Briggs can take a lot before they start having low compression issues with running without air filters. People run them without air filters for a long time before they fail a lot of times. So not really too concerned, because I had decent compression when I turned it over before I took all the or it felt like it did at least before I took off the decorative cover and stuff. So obviously the gas tank is off as well. That's really easy to do after you take the decorative cover off. It actually just slides right up out of these two slots here after you take the fuel line off of the carburetor. So very easy. These are very easy to work on, although they're very cheaply made. And with the parts and stuff I've got now, it's a lot easier to work on them, a lot quicker too. So now the process of putting everything back together, it's pretty much the reverse order I took them off. So I'm going to have at it and put it together and see what we got. So I got everything back together here, except for just a little red beady cover on it. Put gas in it, just kind of letting the carb bowl fill up here for a minute. Everything seemed like it turned out pretty well, even with this older engine. We're going to see if it cranks up. That's not an older engine, but the one that had all that came off of that mower that was in pretty bad shape. So we're going to see if this thing will crank and hear it run here, hopefully. Bit of a extra throttle, I guess. Put a little oil up through the sump there, so that's kind of pulled a little oil through the sump, and now it's running better. Might have had a little bit of grit or something that needed to get past the valve. So I'm going to let it finish running the rest of the gas out here after I finish the video. But I'll end that video here. As you can see, it kind of ran a little rough to start. Just because I know this engine kind of had a little bit of a hard life with running without an air filter. But looked like it kind of got some things past when it blew that puff of smoke and started running better after that. So I'm going to keep running it a little while. One other thing I'll have to do is I just put like a crappy blade on it just to check to see if it works. And as you can see, it's kind of in bad shape with the lift gone. I'll probably end up replacing the blade on it with a new one or a better one than that. But yeah, I'm happy with how this one turned out for what it is, and with the parts that I had, and the broken base plate and the bent blade. So I'm glad that this engine right here doesn't have a bent shaft. It was very smooth. As you can see, it didn't really vibrate or anything. So I'll end this video here. The next project will be I do one of these every year. The next project will be we're actually replacing this base plate on this engine, because it's a brand new mower from this engine that's blown up. So I can kind of show you all that it spins over. So let me show you all that real quick. So that would be the sound of no compression. And I know it was locked up and I was able to get it freed up, and now it just does that. So, but the base plate on this is good. So a bunch of parts and, you know, good stuff off of it to put onto this other new mower so that I can, you know, have another good one here. And then coming up, we'll dive into that Honda. I'm just got to kind of straighten the shaft out on it a little bit. But this snapper, it actually needs, that's oil there. I didn't know if it was leaking oil or what, but I might actually have to dive into this and see why it's turning over so hard. So that's kind of a general idea of what I've got left. I appreciate y'all watching as always, and join me for the next one here whenever I'm able to get it done. Thank y'all again.